Hey guys, I just wanted to quickly talk about something. I have plans for future videos. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to reconstruct a lot of stuff, and unfortunately, some of my projects have just been ruined because, for the reasons I stated previously, my laptop just crashed, and it's gonna be way too expensive to restore the data. So, please forgive me if I'm a little sporadic in my postings. And I just started school as well, so I'm going to be pretty busy. But anyway, I wanted to talk briefly about, and I'm not going to answer the question, the more broad question of is autism a disability, because that would be a longer conversation. But I wanted to talk specifically, if I had the choice to not be autistic, would I choose that? And this is only my case, okay? So please don't get mad at me for this. I know a lot of people would disagree, especially people who are more high functioning, but personally, I would rather not have autism, and I will explain that briefly. I wasn't really following behind my peers for a long time because at that point, when I was in preschool and elementary school and middle school, et cetera, up until high school, I was able to keep up with my peers intellectually, and even surpass them. So I was still hitting all the milestones that a lot of my peers were, albeit not really social milestones, at least not in peer relationships. But anyway, it wasn't until I was making that transition from adolescenthood to adulthood that my deficits really came into effect. So because of that, because I don't have the natural social skills, and because I never really practiced on building them up, I cannot get a job. I cannot financially support myself, and part of that is also to do with executive functioning, like just managing finance on my own would be just way too overwhelming. And because of that, I feel left behind. I feel like, why can't I just do everything that, the other kids my age can do? Why can't I just be an adult? And it sucks. It really, really sucks. Like, it's taken me forever to get through school. I'm 21 and still in community college, and probably will be for a long time. Not because I'm not a good student, but because A, I want to take a lot of classes and get the best out of my learning experience, and B, it just takes me a long time to get through classes because of my disabilities, mostly related to autism. Now, a lot of people might say, and I think a lot of the reason why people don't wish that they could be cured of autism if given the choice is because autism also comes with intellectual gifts and perceptual, like better pattern recognition. And it is true that I do have some intellectual gifts. However, they're very, very skewed. I think I've said before, my IQ has been evaluated several times. It's nothing special, just a bit like in the, I guess, mildly gifted range. I think the whole categorization of gifted range is stupid, but yeah, it's nothing remarkable. But if you look at the individual scores, most people will score in the same, like if they have an IQ of 115, say, they might have an IQ of 110 and 105 on the sub scores. Or I don't know if I'm getting my math right. But anyway, most people, especially non-autistic people, will average whatever their score is. They'll also have on all their subtypes, like everything just averages out. But for me and for a lot of other autistic people, it's really, really, really like either you're really gifted at something, or you're below average or something, or even in the intellectually disabled range on something. I literally got the highest score you can get on the test for reading comprehension and for vocabulary, and I got a very, very high score for spelling, but my processing speed is below average. I think I've said all this before. But it kind of doesn't help to just be intellectually advanced in very few areas. especially because like I'm into math and science, and that, and I don't have any kind of natural. I guess I do have like a natural understanding for patterns, but for me, I'm not like some savant in math and science. I just wish I had it easier. I know that sounds kind of selfish to say because I already do have things easy in a lot of different ways. I'd rather, even if it meant giving up my intellectual gifts, I'd rather just be a person with like normal IQ, normal social skills, because that is what the world is best adapted for, and that's the person who's gonna meet the goals that I so desperately want to have in terms of independence and job security. Yeah, this was just kind of a ramble. I think there's a lot of stigma within the autistic community about acknowledging the downsides of autism, because a lot of people in the neurodiversity movement, think that being autistic is just a difference. And though I can definitely see what that perspective is, because you do process things very differently, I don't think there should be anything wrong with acknowledging that those can lead to considerable problems in life. And I understand that probably many people feel the same way. I think it's like 20% of the population has a disability, has a diagnosable disability. So there are probably many people, even if they don't necessarily have autism, struggling with similar things. It just goes back to, like, I just want to be normal. Like, it's the same thing for being trans. Like, I hate being trans. It's the fucking worst, okay? The only thing that I've gotten out of it is having a unique perspective on trans issues. Like, that's literally it. Dysphoria is a bitch. I know there are a lot of people who are trans who are glad that they're trans, but I'm certainly not one of those people. And I think it's okay to acknowledge that things like that, it sucks. Anyway, that was just my little ramble. To sum it up, I would rather be non-autistic than autistic, because honestly, autism has not given me that many advantages. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.